All right. We'll call to order the June 4th Trades Licensing Board meeting. Everyone sign in. I'll take roll call. Mr. Armstrong. Here. Mr. Reeves. Here. Mr. Panitsky.
Here.
Mr. Newber. Mr. Dietrich.
Here.
Mr. Ziwi.
Here.
Mr. Sessler. Here. Mr. Bretz.
Here.
Mr. Schaaf. Here. Mr. Hollern. Here. Mr. Collins.
Here.
And Mr. Yasko.
Here.
Okay, roll call has been taken. You were all notified electronically of the previous meeting minutes. If there's no objection, I'll take a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes. Motion by Mr. Ziwi, second by Mr. Sessler. Is there any question on the motion? Any question on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. We'll now move on to the public comment section of the meeting. Mr. Andy Zimmerman has public comment.
Chuck Ollinger has asked for a one-time license. He's doing a residential plumbing job, single-family dwelling for Monty Builders. And he has asked in the past and been granted one. In my time here, I think he's asked for one other time, and he's asking this time as well. And he also does want to talk to the board next month, and we'll throw that on the agenda for next meeting. But I'm asking the board to grant him a one-time license, which is a $600 fee. And he has done a lot of work around town for the last number of years. So, thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Is
Is there any discussion on this?
did you get a temporary license? Or some, did he apply for an extension for a license ever? I don't know.
That would be a question for Andy.
I'm surprised he doesn't help. That's what I was, he does work everywhere else but the city. Andy, has he never applied for a license or an extension?
He's got to work for a master.
Right.
To put his time in.
Yeah.
He does have other licenses around the area. His nephew works for, I think Scobell or Spader, works for Spader. And he is trying to talk him into taking the master's test.
Okay.
And then he would go back to work. Sure. Chuck.
You've had conversation with him on this stuff.
Oh, yeah. He was in the office today.
Doesn't he have somebody cover his work? Yeah, nothing asking to cover his work.
He would have to work for them. The ordinance requires that they work for him.
Right.
They just can't pull a license or pull a permit for him.
It wouldn't be lawful.
Right.
Yes, he had this problem before.
Right,
Right.
Whoever holds the master as that's an employee then. That's it.
right. He's asking for a one-time permit.
Yeah.
Is basically what he's asking for.
Right.
I was just curious if he ever applied. He's been out.
He asked, in our meeting with them today, he asked, and I said, you need to come to the board with other licenses that are equivalent to the city and ask if you'd be permitted to take the test. But one stipulation is the city has to be able to reciprocate with that subdivision and well as
What licenses does he carry?
right now mechanical. The son has mechanical. Yeah. And so, I mean, Chuck's been in business for a long time.
Okay, so
I don't have any issue with it.
the only objection I have is that defeats auditor here.
Isn't there a one-time license? So
Yeah.
Yes.
It's written in the law.
If you read it, we don't. No, he does.
No, I do, and the board. If you look at that, it does say the building code official and the board.
I have.
I don't have memorized.
I don't either.
He's got the ability.
I don't have memorized it either, but
I think it's like page 17.
Yeah.
Just go off the top of my head.
I don't have it memorized, but it's on page 17.
Page or the top or the bottom?
Subsection C,
H,
point 3.
the one-time license granted by the building code official and board.
Okay.
Yes, he's right. I don't have any objection for him having a,
We need a motion for that?
somebody needs to make a motion, yes.
Yeah, under business stuff. Somebody said this for.
Yeah, we can save it for new business. Is there any other public comment? Public comment is closed.
When we do that, I would like to have my name listed as making the motion for it. Based on picture.
Well, you can make that motion under new business.
At a different date.
The secretary's report, we'd like to welcome Mr. Jacob Yatsko. Jacob will be filling the vacancy left by Hank Grego. He resigned and completing the remainder of his term, which expires November 1st, 2025. So, welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Brad.
Absolutely. There's no correspondence. Is there anything under old business? Anything under old business? Being that there's none, we will move on to new business. And the first order of business is the temporary permit for Hollinger to do a residential home construction. Is there a motion by Mr. Bretz?
I will make a motion.
Mr. Bretz made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. Seconded by Mr. Reeves. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Armstrong opposes. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Next, moving on to review and approve plumbing applications. The first applicant is Mr. Hunter Lewis. I would like to note that I am the verifier on this, so I will be abstaining from voting on this particular application. I have a copy if anyone wants a paper copy.
I just want to ask. You want it?
I want to. I didn't see any objections.
I don't have any questions on any, were you helping me out? I audited.
We make sure they do their due
They
diligence.
did it. I mean, it was done correctly.
Yeah.
It was no discrepancies.
I'll make the motions.
I'll second the motion.
Can't wait for this one. That's it.
That's a motion to approve? Okay.
Who's good?
There's a motion made and seconded. Yep, seconded by Mr. Reeves. Is there any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And I abstain. Motion passes. Next is Jacob Odell. So you'll pass this to Mr. Armstrong.
I'll make the motion to approve.
There's a motion made,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mr. Reeves. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion was made by Mr. Panitsky. I'm sorry. Abstentions? I abstain. The motion passes.
Is your team out?
I'm the verifier. That might be a conflict there.
Can't cut with them in. I saw your name on what I do.
Yeah, it's on all of these. The next applicant applying for a journeyman licensed plumber is Mackenzie Heizenrader. Please pass this to Mr. Armstrong.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made to approve by Mr. Bretz. Second. Seconded by Mr. Panitsky. Are there any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? My vote is abstain. Motion passes. Next applicant, Shane Spinol for journeyman plumber's license. Please pass this to Mr. Armstrong.
Is there a set time for the test, or is it just whenever they do it?
Whenever they do it, just like they did before, kind of like all night.
Yeah, they're encouraged to do it in a timely way.
Well, sure. It's not for July, but
Right.
I didn't know if there was a set time. You used to have to go and sit in the room now, but it's,
I helped take my master's at Pearson U, so it was electronic testing. It was pretty flexible.
That's how I took mine.
Yeah, this is you're 533, your number?
Yeah, 5:30.
538. Like, just took one right there.
Okay. Next up, where are we at?
Shane.
Shane's, I'm sorry, Shane Spinol.
So,
Okay, there's a motion made to approve this application by Mr. Sessler. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Ziwi. Any questions on the motion? Any questions on the motion? Being that there's none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I abstain. The motion passes.
Yes.
Please pass this to Mr. Armstrong.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'm sorry?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, Mr. Reeves made the motion to approve this application. I'll second. Mr. Brett seconded the motion. Is there questions on the motion? Any questions? Mr. Armstrong, is there any questions on the motion? Okay. Being that there's no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? I abstain. The motion passes. Well, gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the meeting. If there's no other new business, is there any other new business? Being that there's none, this meeting is adjourned to the first Tuesday in July.